Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Oh, hold on, let me get set up. Oop, hold on, I need to actually grab a coaster. Hold on. I'm wearing one of my famous, well, as my friends call it, moo-moos, but it's like patterns. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's a, little. Let me just sit down. Okay. Um, Excuse me. A lot of stuff going on around. I like to keep it authentic on the show because it's the Analytical Eye Show, right? Why not keep it authentic? I mean, this is how my life is, right? But happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Cheers. um, I hope y'all are having a good Wednesday so far. Um, Man, oh man. My Wednesday's going pretty good. Got a lot to do today, so little time. A lot of the times I'm shooting these the day of Wednesday because it's usually within the actual time frame of stuff. So first things first, rest in peace to Frankie Beverly. Well, hold on, let me restart this back over again because I'm like all over the place. Welcome to the episode of the Analytical Eye Show. It's your boy Javier. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Analytical Eye Show. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, because I kind of realized I didn't really fully do that correct introduction. So, yes, rest in peace to Frankie Beverly. Rest in peace to Tito Jackson. Well, it was in the order from what I recall. It was Tito Jackson, James Earl Jones, Frankie Beverly, and now John Amos. What is this world coming to, man? We're losing all of our fathers in the movies and the fathers in our TV shows, our black men. What's going on, Jesus? But rest in peace to all of them, as I've gotten from one of Tracy Braxton. Rest in peace to her as well. You're not below us. I mean, you're not below us, you're not above us, but you're right here with us. So thank you for that. I hope you guys, like I said, you guys are having a good Wednesday so far. Mine is a little jam-packed. Got the podcast to film. I got an audition to do. I got a freelance job. I submitted a script to a competition. Pray for me on that. I got a short films competition script I want to submit something to for this month as well. And I got another competition due at the end of this year. I'm doing the National Guard, Reserve, trying to get that in there. Fortunately, I might have to return to TSA, and I don't want to, but hell, I'm not too egotistical. I got to make some money somehow, right? So a lot of shit going on, worrying about the bills and stuff, but God's going to provide. He has never let me down before. I'm just worrying a lot. And I know they say if you're going to trust in God and have faith in God, have the faith the size of a mustard seed and worry, then no need to, you got the faith the size of a mustard seed, no need to worry. And just have faith. But it's hard. We're humans at the end of the day. And that's that doubt that seeps in. And for me personally, I know that they always say that's the devil, that's the devourer. We all worry. We all, rightfully so. So, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. That's just how that goes. I don't really blame the devil for everything, which is another episode I should do. But today, we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, so as y'all can see, and it's kind of ironic or coincidence. I would not say a coincidence. And I apologize again, y'all. If I'm looking back past y'all sometimes, I'm doing this just to make sure that when I move, the camera's moving too, because I've had, some issues and shit like that. So I just bear with me, y'all. When you broke and you're trying to do some business and do stuff like this and all this stuff, you just gotta work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So if I had money to get a new iPad or actual camera or something like that, I would do it. But for right now, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit, and I'm blessed to have it. Amen, amen, amen. But it's kind of a coincidence that I have this on today because I love these colors. I love the patterns. I love the way it feels on my skin. I love it all. But it's funny. I wish that I need to add maybe some other views where y'all get like a side angle of how I look, because I actually look pretty good. I might add you in this, and I have a whole bunch of them. But anyways, I'm just gonna come out and say it, y'all. I'm color struck. I am color struck, and it's ironic that I have on something that represents all people from Africa, my heritage, my family, my I don't know which parts, but just, but I'm color struck, y'all. let me tell y'all a little story, okay? And I apologize. I had, I'm shooting this kind of early in the morning, so if I'm like wiping my eyes, just because I probably feel like I didn't get enough out or whatever like that. But let me say this to y'all. I'm color struck because I really only like white men. So let me explain to you. Growing up, I was always attracted to both male and female, right? But emotionally, not just sexually or the attraction of sexually, like get sexually aroused, would be not just from females, or would be only for females. And then when I would just feel like the lust or sexual attraction would be for guys, I like just the exterior, like, ooh, abs, and all, you know what I'm saying? But I've only ever liked white guys. I don't really like black guys. And I think even when I started thinking about this episode yesterday, like, Aubrey, you're gonna film this episode. What do you got to say to that? You know what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, and I'm like, you know what? I have a great way to explain it without feeling like I'm coming off or derogatory to my own kind or disrespectful to my own kind. So my ideal, I'm gonna talk about now as far as and the kind of the same goes for females a little bit, but there's wiggle room for females. Don't know why, but I don't really like dark skin. Meaning, like, I'm attracted to him. I love melanin. I love like Lupita and Viola Davis. Like Black and the Berry Sweet of the Juice. I'm there for Monique. Who else is out there that's dark skinned that I'm trying to think of off the top of my head? Taraji B. Henson. They're kind of like my shade or going darker. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all. Let me say this clearly. I am Ingenue Ellis. Gabrielle Union. There's countless other women out there that are dark-skinned, complected, that are darker than me. Not just men and women. Idris Elba. Who else am I thinking of that dark-skinned for males? That one African guy that was in Beauty Shop, and he also was in Baggage Claim. I need to look up his name. But I'm attracted to dark-skinned people as far as like, yeah, I love them, but I'm color struck. I'm not attracted to dark-skinned brothers or sisters sexually like that. Meaning, I guess, so let me say this. Ideally, my type of guy is my boo. He's 6 foot tall, muscular, works out. I don't really care about the eyes, but if you got colored eyes, oh my God. It's almost like women would say a panty dropper for me. And he's got blue eyes, like hypnotizing. He's successful in his craft. Everything's respectful, the whole nine. That's usually what I only look for in a guy. I would say I go to even light skinned, but if you are my complexion or lighter, perfect. But if you're darker, I just can't do it. For females, growing up, I was always attracted to any kind of female in a sense, especially big. I think more so big women because all of the people in my family were big women. All the women in my family, they had some type of curves, or they were heavy set, or they ate. They weren't scared to let you know how they feel and all this stuff like that. I grew up with some strong, powerful, loving, take on a lot type of women, and they endured a lot. So when it comes to that, my array of women is a lot more. Shall I say? There we go. Ooh, my English is a little off. I would say that not just body wise, but also color skin wise, is more eclectic. My palette is more universal. I love Asian women. I love, Hispanics, black women is number one on that list. White women. I think personally for me, I guess we could talk about it in this show. I was going to do maybe another episode for it, but I kind of figure I treat thicker girls with more respect. I don't sexualize them or over-sexualize them, just because I just don't see black women in that tone for me as like, I have to look at their boobs and their behind, you know, and ooh, what's between their legs, stuff like that. You know, they're like Jill Scott says, there's power in these rolling hills. There's more to them than just what's between their legs, what's between their eyes. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how I always have treated black women. Um, and I know, so well, then obviously you sexualize everybody else. Then yeah, I do. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I do. Not in a derogatory way, but it's just a society has, especially that European mindset. I always say this, and I know a lot of people, Javier, why you always go to white people? But it's truly conditioned in our mind. If you look at how over the human civilization of 6 million years, how is it that the entire world now has adopted the European way of hairstyles and makeup and wardrobes and everything? You know what I'm saying? So black women have been so pounced on, been so ridiculed, so disrespected, that when it comes to a black woman, especially when you're darker, I don't, and I see where I have that part has come in, where the European way is in poisoned my mind, and I've allowed it to. And growing up, it's naturally been embedded in my skin and the woven fabrics of me. Is because, you know, they have been deemed to be mammy. They're mammies. They're supposed to be mammies, right? And so, for me, I sadly, I guess you could say, I have kind of not necessarily mammified black women, especially if you're big, but more so like just I think. But for me though, it's just more of a respect thing. You know what I'm saying? Treat like when Fat Girls came out with Monique. I love that movie because it talked about a big black woman just owning her sexuality, owning all that stuff, and I love that. Which then that's why I love Queen Latifah and Monique and stuff like that. And now I love this comedian that's been out for some time, but her name is Takara Williams. You know, I'm just in love with big black women, and so when it comes to them, I stand up for them over anything, because they always are the number one to get ridiculed, beaten down, talked down about, and have to suffer more than anybody in this world. Yes, black women suffer, but big black women suffer way more. And so when it comes to them, I don't look at them sexually like that. I mean, or I do, but I do it with the sense of humble and respect more than if you are a twig. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, you know, just because I grew up with big black women, and I don't know what that would be called, that terminology where I do that, but it's just who I am. I'm human, and I'm working every day to kind of better that, as far as where it's equal across all the playing fields, where I don't feel like my mind is coming off prejudicial or overly sexual to skinny women, and where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I would never harm any woman or any man for any reasons. You see what I'm saying? It's just, that's how my mind works, you know, because I grew up with all big women, you know, so my respect is top tier for them. And I don't condone anybody who disrespects them, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but when it comes to also, because we're here for dark skin, you know, the color struck part, I've always seen that the massa would rape slaves and create light-skinned babies, right? And they were deemed approvable, right? Usually those were the house slaves. And then you had the field slaves. And usually the ones that were light-skinned or could pass off as white maybe were treated better, right? And so for me, do I think that light-skins and whites and people that are darker than the average Joe, or lighter than the average Joe, is better than? No, I actually think that dark-skinned people are actually better. They're better than me. Just because something so beautiful about that skin. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I would probably get in more doors than a darker skinned brother that's starting out in the industry, only because if you look at that, you see the type of roles they're always getting. They're always getting the drug roles. They're always getting they're always getting the criminal roles, or the problem. They're the problem role, and then somebody else that has come in to be the fixer, or be the solution. You see what I'm saying? So I guess that's one of the reasons why I've also never been attracted to dark-skinned men, is because they're deemed as ape predators. They're deemed, you know, I mean, black people in general are, especially black men. But if you really look at how dark skin plays a role in everything, the spectrum of going from light to dark-skinned people get the most ridicule, and that's why I guess I don't even look at them sexually that way, or over sexualize them or ridicule them or look at them as if you know, they're ugly. I just look at them as like, I'm really not attracted to them, but they're beautiful people, man. They're beautiful people. And then on top of that, I ain't gonna lie though, when it comes to black men, I'm a little scared that you're a little too big in bed for me. Let me just say that, okay? Because I've seen some videos. Oh God. Ugh. And then on top of that, for yeah, it's just a lot of too much bigness for me that I love, but I don't think I want to indulge in. I want to just celebrate it, you know, honor you in a respectful capacity. But I respect black-skinned people and white people too. I'm just saying. And I mean, a lot of this could have been like, Aubrey, you should have did some research on this to answer some questions for us on like, what would this be called? Maybe somebody in the comment section, when you comment on this video, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about and understand. But I mean, on one hand, I'm looking at it as, okay, it's a preference. But on the other hand, am I racist to my own kind? And then on the other hand, it's like, well, you like what you like, but at the same time, you are respecting them and you aren't derogatory them and you're not calling them ugly and things like that. I just don't find dark-skinned people like I'd rather boast you up. I'd rather celebrate your sexuality, your womanhood, your manhood, all of those things. And I think also at the same time is because when you look at the track record of how especially with black men, the reason why I'm not also attracted is because I actually just watched this video yesterday. This guy named Joe Swell, he always is commenting on people's posts of how they're in public and they're filming, they get mad at people or they do this and that. There was this black man that was on there. And he was in the locker room, and he was filming. Sorry, I'm just looking still. He was filming in the locker room, and I don't know if this man was white or black or what ethnic he was, because he was not in the film. He was not in the videotape that was on Instagram. He was on the side, I guess, of the locker leaning, and I guess the guy had said that he always talks to him daily. But he posted the video with the audio of him talking to this guy, telling him about how awkward the conversation was getting, dude, leave me alone, all this stuff like that. But you couldn't accept a simple compliment. And one thing I guess I noticed with black men, especially when it comes to gays, bisexuals, if you are not straight, outside of religion, outside of what you believe, it's always, is it really you having a problem with talking to another guy, especially when they're complimenting you because you say it's awkward, or is it because you feel like they're gay to you, especially if they're coming to you day in, day out? There's always a sense when it comes to my brothers that we have to come at each other a certain way that is bro mentality or like a certain, you're supposed to talk, look a certain way, stand a certain way when you with your brothers. Like why when I look at white men, they hug each other, they kiss each other on the cheeks. Like Italians do, and when I mean white people, I'm talking about Italians, I'm talking about Greeks. Remember, all this shit is white people's. All these groups are white people. Greeks, Italians, anything that's, you know what I'm saying? So they all kiss each other on the cheeks. They're very emotional. They're very feelings. They bar no feelings to themselves when it comes to their brothers, especially, and their sisters. But we as black people, we sit up here. If I were to do that, I would get punched. I would kick in the balls, especially now that y'all, especially because the fact that y'all know that, some dude would just sit up there and do that shit. Black people, I don't know. But then when I look at Africans, the difference between black and African, the Africans do that. They do that stuff. But black people, especially black men, bar no emotions. We're not supposed to have emotions. We're not supposed to feel. And I guess that's the reason why I'm probably not also attracted to dark-skinned brothers or just brothers in general a lot of the time. And mainly it's just if you were this, maybe a little bit this, but more so lighter than me or white, is because there's a sense of feeling disconnect there. And if you are emotional, or if you cry, or if you have your heart on your sleeves as a black man, brother to brother, especially if you believe in God or something, you are not only weak, you are feminine, you must be gay, all that stuff like that. And it's like, why can I not be emotional as a black man? So there's a constitutional array of things, I guess, if you want to say that makes sense, where I feel a disconnect with my own brothers and sisters. Plus, on the top of that, remember I told y'all, the dude that helped bring me into this world is really, to me, just a sperm donor, not even actually my daddy or my father or anything like that. The man upstairs actually raised me, my mama did, for what she could do. So, and it's also, I think, because society has poured not only to me and the films that I've seen, the TV shows and the documentaries I've seen, that they don't like black people, they don't like black men, they're apex predators, they're criminals, they're worse than rabid dogs on the street, they're this, they're that, they're here to rape and sodomize our white women and all this stuff like that. That they're not celebrated. So then I took that on and I saw that, and little did I know, I guess I was planting that into my soil, and now it's in my soil. And will it change? I don't know. Will it ever get better? I don't know. I know I don't like the feeling of it, but I know that I don't mean any ill intentions with it. Meaning, like, I don't treat anybody different within my community. You see what I'm saying? I will say that there are some times when I look at certain guys, or like, not even like a sexual, I'm just talking about just in general. I do tend to pass some judgment on my part, and that's my fault when it comes to certain things. Or, I'll maybe say some things that I probably shouldn't say, that are more ridiculing if it were light skinned or white. Or there's a certain aura, you know. Um, one thing I love so much now that I'm seeing in a lot of films is black men cry, especially the dark skinned brothers. Show, not even proving to these white motherfuckers, because we already know as black people, but just showing that they're not just white people are starting to show it, but black people are starting to show the emotional aspect of things in their films. The not just angry all the time type, like Training Day type shit, like or you know what I'm saying. They're showing that impactful performance on their part. You know what I'm saying? Um, so commendos to all y'all brothers out there that are doing that and doing the job well. No matter if you're gay, straight, bi, lesbian, for females, all that stuff. Kudos to y'all for doing that. Now, obviously, I know y'all probably, I'm sure, know the definition of color struck. But color struck come on, share about this, but color struck is an old African American saying that refers to people who believe that a lighter skin tone and European features are the epitome of beauty and desirability. That fits. I mean, for me, see, my thing is this. For me personally, I'm not color struck across the board. Like, so, because remember, I'm a filmmaker. I don't believe that I'm gonna sit up here and cast a whole bunch of white people and light skinned people in my films. That's not that's actually far from the truth. Because I'm actually working on an African script right now, Africa script right now of an African emperor. I'm also writing a horror film that I literally specifically am asking for black people in this film. Literally across the board. So I'm not color struck in that. I want to showcase that sexuality on screen, because if you look at a lot of the sex movies that we've done, especially within the black community, there's no real passionate sex scenes. They're all quick, fast, raw, hard, tough, and that goes for the white people too. But really, with the black people, if you look at a lot of our black exploitation films, Superfly, what's that called? Sweet Daddy's, Sweet Daddy's, fuck. What's that damn movies? Sweet, sweet, sweet daddy. Black exploitation. It's called, there we go, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. There we go. Yeah, my bad, sorry. So if you look at movies that are just of the black exploitation, a lot of our films, even in that aspect where it was a writer, a producer, director that were all black, in a sense, it's still the sexuality of especially dark-skinned people, but the black community as a whole is not honored. It's not cherished. So that's why, in a sense, for me, I also, yeah, I guess you could say the desirability to want to be with a dark-skinned person. And who knows, I honestly, let me say like, because a lot of people are like, well, then do you hope that one day you'll be with a dark-skinned person? Is that why you're talking about it? No, I'm gonna end up with whoever I end up with, but I don't see that being with a dark skinned person. But I'm just saying I noticed something within myself that it's like, why am I shouldn't be like this. You know, I don't treat them any different, but why do I not sexualize them like I do if they were my skin tone or lighter? You know what I'm saying? Um, because in no way, shape, or form am I literally prejudiced to one specific client. Like, oh, they gotta be white, they gotta be this size for females, they gotta look like this for guys. But it also says color discrimination is often masked by a combination of unconscious stereotypes and subjective notions of attractiveness. Yeah, when I look at movies, a lot of them, I don't find them attractive. I don't find them, meaning I don't find the I let me say this verbatim. Have I said they're ugly? Yes. But I mean that in a sense because you generally say like everybody's ugly for somebody, everybody's cute for somebody. I'm sure that when y'all watch this, y'all gonna say, well, he's not cute to me, he's ugly. But we all have our perspectives on that. Means everybody's not cute for everybody. Everybody is not cute for everybody. Everybody is cute for somebody. Everybody's ugly for somebody, and everybody is not ugly for somebody. If that made sense in what I just said, that was a lot of a tongue twisting I just did there. But it's not that I'll say, for example, let me use, how should I say an example? Let me look up somebody. Okay, let me look up a couple of people. Let me look up a couple people. I'm gonna throw a couple names off the list. Jamie Foxx, Samuel Jackson, Michael B. Jordan, Morris Chestnut, Taye Diggs. That's good. Let me say this. I have said, no, they're not cute to me. They're ugly. Meaning, I'm not sexually attracted to them. I like what I like. Just as if somebody else would say to me the same thing. Like this is just an example. I'm using this all as an example. So I would then, I'd be like, oh no, they're not cute to me. I'm not attracted to Taye Diggs or no, nothing like that. But they're very beautiful. They're very beautiful. Just not for me. They're very beautiful. It's not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, well, you like creamer in your tea then, or you like creamer in your coffee. I do. I don't like my coffee black. Sorry. And it's not. And I didn't jump on here to like ridicule black men or to talk down more about dark-skinned brothers. It's just I'm acknowledging something within myself that I noticed that I just was like, hey, I need to get on here and talk about this. This is the analytical eye show. This is talking about the stuff that meets things that meet the eye daily. And this is something that meets the eye daily where a lot of us are maybe a color struck or maybe asking ourselves the question, maybe, am I color struck? Why am I color struck? Why am I not attracted to my own brothers and sisters like that? You know what I'm saying? And then where it's like, I should be though. Because I love my brown skin. I love my brown-skinned brothers, my dark-skinned brothers, but I treat them very authoritative in a certain stature where I dare not look at them like that because it's disrespectful. You see what I'm saying? As well, on top of me not actually being sexually attracted to them, and deeming them desirable, and just in my eyes. Not desirable to, because that definition is stating desirability in general to every race, every culture, every ethnicity, every part of this world. For me, it's just for me though that I'm saying they're not desirable for me, but I see how sexy they are. I see how when Michael B. Jordan takes off his shirt, all right. I see how Taye Diggs when he okay, all right. I'm just saying it's not for me though. See what I'm saying? So, but I noticed that there's that color struck in me that's deeply embedded in my skin. Embedded, y'all. And I hope it gets better over time because I see that even thinking about it right now, I can see how something like that can turn your navigation, your compass to really what's the word? Really being more prejudicial to your own kind than you would want to be. You see what I'm saying? But let me say this: in my films, A lot of the films that I'm script writing right now and creating, it's never approaching black men from the stance or portraying them as to be bad. It's all good because there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good in black men, amazing in black women, and you know I showcase this on this show. So I hope when y'all walk away from this, it's not saying, "Oh, Javier's color struck." And let me say this: don't you call me Uncle Tom, because I just learned from Monique not that long ago that Uncle Tom was actually a guy that was named Uncle Tom in the black community, but he helped actually free slaves or something like that. I have to look that up because I'm not Uncle Tom, nor am I racist to my own kind. Do I call out shit that from how I see it? Yes. Have I been a little I've been stereotypical in a lot of aspects, and I need to work. I need to start working on because I haven't done it until I started to notice this. Yes, yeah. And to tell you the truth, I've never hooked up with a black guy or a black girl before. I just, even in the porn videos, like for example, I don't really watch porn videos that are more dark skinned, just because when I see them having sex, it's more like you take off their heads and you add dogs to them. And when white people watch them, it's almost like making fun of us black people as black-faced and put on blackface, and then they reenact how we're like monkeys and we're gorillas and this, that, and the third. And that's what I see on screen. So then I turn it off because I don't like looking at that. And it makes me tearing up just a little bit because, oh God, because it's like, why are we treated it less than? So I don't want to do any more damage to my black people by over-sexualizing them, ridiculing them, talking down to them. And they've already been through enough. Why am I going to put them through something else? Honestly, and it's hard for me to also find all my words to explain this. So if there's something where maybe you guys are like, no, I mean, it's this, comment below. Let's have a discussion about it. But I'm just opening this floor that if anybody else out there that acknowledges that maybe they're color struck, and it's not long as it's not a problem when you're treating everybody that you're color struck upon in those prejudicial ways, like that definition just said, in discrimination and stereotypical and stuff like that. Just from your preference of what you like, and not putting off on other people. Like you say, oh, black men ain't nothing, black dick, especially dark skinned, but you ain't going that route because I've never done that before. Never done that before, and I don't believe in that. Now, I'm sorry to say this, have my sisters been with all dark skinned brothers? Yes. Are those dark skinned brothers ain't shit? Yes. They ain't shit. I'm here to tell you, they ain't. They not. I'm sorry, I have to say it. But I don't think that all dark-skinned brothers ain't shit. Matter of fact, let me look up, and I ain't gonna lie, just recently, I will say that, I actually found him kind of attractive in a beauty shop. His name was, no, they not put his name on here. Come on now. He was the main star. Oh, there we go. His name is Demon Hunasu. I believe that's how you pronounce his name right. Forgive me if I pronounced it wrong. But I ain't gonna lie, I actually, in a beauty shop, I found him attractive. I actually did. And then when he appeared in a Baggage Claim with Jill Scott and Robin Thicke's ex-wife. Who's Robin Thicke's ex-wife? Paula. No, God, I'm bad. I'm not thinking of any of these damn names right now. What's his name? Paula Patton. I was about to say Paula Abdul, but it's Paula Patton. I just like, no, is it Paula Patton? I just had to make sure. But when he appeared in that, I was like, okay, he's really attractive. I kind of started to get a little glimpse. Okay, I kind of see what people are talking about. Okay, Black of the Berry, maybe sweeter than the juice. Or not sweeter than the juice. Oh, God. Please don't take my black card, black people. Don't take my black card for this episode, but just don't take my black card for that either. It's Black of the Berry, sweeter than the juice. Sorry, my bad. I understand why now I'm starting to see the Black of the Berry. Like, for example, I ain't gonna lie, I find actually Chris Tucker attractive. Younger Chris Tucker. I actually find him sexually attractive. I'm like, okay, all right, Chris Tucker gotta get going on. Like I'm talking about like Money Talks, Rush Hour 1, Friday type of, But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, y'all. Um, Again, I love my black men. I love my black women. Um, but I do see where I am color struck, and I got a lot of work to do. I do. I got a lot of work to do. And I see on one hand, this is just my preference. I see on one hand that, hey, Javier, at least you're not being prejudicial to all black men and all black women, or, you know, demeaning them in a derogatory way and disrespecting them and seeing them from the point of view of nasty, vile, disgusting, ape predators, nasty, all they all drug addicts and criminals, or, you know, they all of them are hoes or prostitutes or this or that. A lot of them are businessmen and women. A lot of them are garbage men and women. A lot of them are male men and women. A lot of them are truck drivers, doctors, lawyers, judges, public officials, politicians, businessmen and women. I think I already said that. But, you know, they're singers, they're songwriters, they're actors and actresses. Shall the list go on? And then for black women, it is primal. You know what I'm saying? So, and with their inventors, their creators, all of this stuff, multifaceted, talented costume designers, fashion designers, makeup artists, stylists, of all the painters, sculptors, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? As I've listed a lot of black women and some black men that I'm starting, you know, to add more to the fun fact section of this, which I'm about to move into. We're all, you know, and I think I want to just protect that. That's why you know, that's why in a sense, I guess I am color struck. But I guess in a way, not a little bit, there is a little bit of hint of negative to it for me on my part. Not generally from what color struck is actually, from what it would be to treating a whole group of dark skinned brothers and sisters a certain way, because I don't. I just, from the other end of the spectrum, I protect them and I look out for them, and I don't like to see when black women, black men are just treated vile and wrong. Yes, I do stand up for more black women right now, just because, not even right now, but I do in general, just because black women don't get the voices that they should have. They have to scream in order to be heard, and when they do, they're treated, why are you mad? Why are you angry? Why are you crazy? Why are you that? And then instead of looking behind the anger that they are maybe portraying and seeing the hurt. Same for black men, you see what I'm saying? So, couple takeaways from this. It's okay to be emotional, black men. It's okay to wear your heart on your sleeve. Cry, boy, cry. Cry, girl, cry. Like Coco said the Sherri Shepherd show. It's okay to be the Black Panther. I actually, I found Chadwick Boseman sexy. I'm sorry, I'll say that. So I'm not, maybe I'm not fully color struck. But even then, he's a certain skin tone too. He's not dark, you know. But I'd noticed that about me. I do have that color struck in me a little bit, where I am prejudicial, stereotypical to, you know, dark skinned brothers and some more so brothers than sisters. Because remember, I've never really been that way with sisters. Really black men as a whole. I've color struck just from, not even just from a sexual standpoint or relationship wise or whatever, or emotional, is just from maybe a little bit of not just respecting them, or you know, maybe a little bit of annoyance to me, or probably a little bit of like, okay, oh, they're, you know, they're, it's not surprising that he smokes weed, not surprising that, you know, he may deal drugs, or not surprising that he ain't doing nothing with his life or creating all these kids and stuff. It's not surprising that I talk down about him a little bit. So I have a lot of work to do on myself. I do. I have a lot of work to do on me, but I love my brothers at the end of the day. I just need to change some of the way, maybe not just what I say in certain instances, but how I say them, maybe, or where, or make sure when I'm saying it's not coming from that color struck place, because I am color struck, y'all, to a degree. But on both sides, I'm a good color struck and a bad color struck, where I guess there's no good in it, but meaning that I'm not. It's just my preference, my preference of what I like. And then there's this little negative connotations that I need to start fine tuning and working out and becoming a better human being, to where I don't have that little seed in me of that of color struck, where it's like now it's about to grow into a whole damn garden, a whole damn farm. See what I'm saying? But we're gonna move into our fun fact for today. Sorry, my apologies. But I hope that you guys did understand what I was saying when it came to that. You know, um, if you like, I would love to continue this conversation with anybody that has maybe the same experience as me, or even the same type of mentality as me, where they're cross between, it feels like they're color struck, but they're not, or they are in some aspects where they need to change how they, you know, relate, vulnerability, um, um, emotional, um, networking with, um, that type of thing, you know. But we're going to move on to our fun fact for the day. This gentleman's name is Benjamin Bradley. He was an American engineer and inventor. He was born in 1830 in I'm gonna say Indianapolis, but it's Annapolis, Maryland, and he died in 1897 at the age of 67. It doesn't state where he died, but he got credit for designing, constructing a miniature steam engine, and a boiler about 6 fly power. And so the steam engine, it was built, and he invented it for powering a small boat or a cutter to carry provisions, for a sloop of war. Not sure what sloop of war is, but I guess we can actually look this up right now as I'm talking to you. So when you look at a small boat, think of Benjamin Bradley. And a sloop of war, is during the 18th and 19th century, a sloop of war was a warship of the British Royal Navy with a single gun deck that carried up to 18 guns. Wow, damn. So if you think of all the boilers that are like you know, I don't know if hotels have boiler. From my understanding, what a boiler is, and I guess I could look it up, would be like almost like a water heater, or like something of an engine type of thing, where it fuels for electricity, hot water, whatever that may be. So yeah. But thank you, Mr. Benjamin Bradley, for all of your contributions in creating that, because without you, we wouldn't have some of the modern shit that we have today, as far as what powers our electricity, our cars, our boats, our hot water, our gas, or, you know, all that type of shit, our electricity, you know, all that shit like that. So thank you for that, sir. Yeah, and thank you for being not just a contribution to our community, but to the world. It also says that Benjamin's surname was Broadley, but since 1859, when the American Respiratory published an article wrongly spelling Benjamin's surname as Bradley, authors have written about him with the incorrect surname. So when you maybe look him up, or you see certain things, just to say that, you may get a cross between, well, this person, they both had the same first name, but the last name is different, but they both say that they did the same thing. It's the same thing. They just, people, you know, accidents happen. But yes, thank you so much, Mr. Bradley, for Mr. Broadley, sorry, for your contribution. And I appreciate y'all for watching this episode of the Analytical Eye Show. Let's continue to have a conversation about this, because this is something that can be further explained, and maybe I'll do another episode on it, and, you know, from you guys' responses and stuff, and we'll, you know, who knows. But I thank you for watching this episode of Analytical Eye Show. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok at Avir Vassal. You can follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at The Analytical Eye Show, and on Twitter at iAnalytical. I thank y'all so much for watching this episode. I will see you next Wednesday for an all-new episode. Cheers. The Analytical Eye Show is presented by Analytical Eye Productions, a AAVR company.